Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another episode of Buff Breakdown. We're taking a break from the arcade buffs apparently because they released Interlude Campaign number 20 today, I believe. And with it we got new interludes. I think Taikobo got one, and then also Dobrinian, who is the topic of this video. She got an MP buff. They did not buff Taikobo, which probably would have been pretty crazy, so understandable, but hey, you know what? I think Dobrinian could have used a buff, so let's see what we're working with here today. Now, this is her MP before the buff, so it's an AoE Buster MP, right? And before damage, on base overcharge, she gets 20% Buster after one turn to, help increase the damage of the MP and possible follow-up face cards as well. Not too bad, the overcharge is fine. The MP also has Ignore Defense, which is always a very welcome utility to have. And then after damage, it does a 1k burn on all enemies for 3 turns, and then a 20% defense down on all enemies for 3 turns. It's very unfortunate that this defense down is after damage though, because that could definitely improve her damage quite a bit, but at least the buster up is before damage. Honestly, it's an okay MP, even before the buff. FX-wise is fine. The burn is the only real, stinky part that doesn't really do much. Obviously, it enables easier use of, like, Honey Lake, but again, we have CC, so it's never really, like, a insane luxury to have, because you can enable it in other ways anyway. But everything else, very cool, even if this is after damage still. Especially on bosses, it can, be used for ramping up. Now, what did they change with the buff, then? Well, the only actual change that happened is the standard damage upgrade. So nothing that I just listed changes besides the damage obviously just got higher with the standard MP upgrade. Still the same buster up for 20% for 1 turn before damage, same ignore defense damage on the MP, same 1k burn on enemies for 3 turns, same minus 20% defense down on enemies for 3 turns, but one new line was added, so it's not just a damage buff. Now, after the MP, the full party gets 10% battery. Including herself, of course. Yeah, I mean, sure, spread charge is always good. And honestly, she's always been, like, more boss-oriented anyway. She's never really been a farmer. But, like, before this, the only thing she had going for her was the third skill, which is a 20% self-battery. Very awkward number, obviously, if you're looking to farm. You would hope to see 30% minimum, of course, for Buster. So her farming was never really viable, and now a lot of people will be asking, well, can she farm now? And the answer is, not really, sadly, still. As far as I know, now she can do double Koyan Oberon farming, but she would need to start with the K-scope, which is obviously not ideal. That's a lot of, potential damage lost. Or I think the other alternative way for her to farm now would be a 60% starter with a fully maxed second append, so she gets that 80% start. So it's a bit wonky, I'm not gonna lie. So I still think farming for her will not really be a thing, but obviously, again, that's fine. If anything, I'm still okay with this buff because, obviously her DPS potential still goes up. So can't really be mad about it, and I think she definitely deserved the buff. She was never really bad by any means, but now she looks a little bit better, compared to her competition. That is for sure. So on my rider tier list this year, I placed her on a B+, which may have been generous, may have not been, may have been just fine. Honestly, I feel good about that, even, now looking after the MP buff. But can I move her to A now? I think I might be able to. It also helps that she is a permanent rider, so chances are many people actually do have some MP levels on her. Now, obviously, she's one of the more newer permanents, especially if you're playing on the NA side, so a lot of people might not have any copies yet, but you might end up pulling a copy or 2 or more, in due time if you keep playing. So now that she has that buffed MP, I think she could probably see at A tier. She's mostly still, shining against dragon opponents, of course, because she has that double damage mod. But I still think that now with this, even against non-dragons, she should still do a fine job and, kind of pull her weight as well. So pretty good. Kind of a chill episode this time around, after all those crazy arcade buffs, especially the Shisho and the Umu one from 2 days ago. Still kind of flabbergasted that those buffs happened. And honestly, now that I've thought about the Umu buff, she just might be EX here after that. Yeah, it's her solo is pretty nuts. And apparently she could also now even Black Grail loop. I'm kind of flabbergasted that we actually see a day where a one-hit arts AoE looping is actually now doable on someone. So if anything for that, she's kind of remarkable. But yeah, Dobrinian looking way better. Happy for her. Also, I even have a fully maxed copy on JP, so this will definitely be a nice bonus on top of that. Now, if you enjoyed this video, do be a solid and press the thumbs up button. It really helps out. Keeps me motivated to keep posting videos ASAP when new content is out. Also, I will be doing another YouTube live next week's Friday, so a week from now, for the JP stream. And after that, we expect to get the new event as well. So a lot of new content on the way. Stay tuned, stay notified, subscribe, of course. And otherwise, have a great rest of your Friday or weekend, and peace out.